Hello and welcome to our Jumps preview show for the 25-26 season, brought to you in association with our friends at TalkSport Bet. We have assembled the dream team once again. We put the band back together, basically, for this stage in the season. Tony Mullins, it's a pleasure to welcome you back. How's it going?
Very well, very well.
Good.
Pedro Bob Mullins.
It's good to have him back, though.
It is, yeah.
We missed you.
That was a great day, wasn't it?
It surely was, and now that we haven't had one since, it surely was a great day.
Well, of course, then Barry sacked you.
You'll have something up your sleeve. You normally have something up your sleeve from your own team. Save that thought, though, because I'll get that out of you before the end of the show. And Mr. Matt Chapman is back with us as well. Wouldn't be a Jump season preview without you, man.
No, really looking forward to it.
Are you here as our British correspondent or our Irish correspondent?
Well, it wouldn't be a Jumps preview if I wasn't here in pink and green spots.
I suppose so.
I've ditched the scarf and gone for the full-out hoodie this time. But, yeah.
Did you get that made?
Racing Tees, I'm fairly happy to give them a plug. They do all the merch. If you wanted any colours, Pedro Bob, you could walk around in Pedro Bob t-shirt if you wanted. They're just fantastic. And
they'd think I was promoting Marine Nationale now at this stage.
Well, or anything. But yeah, so looking forward to the season ahead. I think.
And they come in a wide range of sizes too, which is good.
That was beautiful.
Absolutely
Beautiful
no need for
shot.
that. At my lowest fighting weight, and you might be experiencing
You're looking good, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We're going to talk by divisions, if that's okay. So we'll go through sort of 2 mile chasers, 2 mile hurdlers, staying chasers. We'll talk about novices as well, some up and coming horses to look forward to as well. Let's kick on, shall we? He's looking at me in a way that's frightening me now, Mr. Chapman.
In awe is right.
No, not in awe. Not in awe.
So much hair, boys.
There we go. Looking at me menacingly. We will move on. Let's talk about the 2 mile hurdle division, what you might call the champion hurdle division. Let's call it that because we're going to look at the champion hurdle prices, not because we're necessarily trying to find Cheltenham winners only, but because we're framing it that way and it gives us an idea of how this picture looks. The champion hurdle market currently, fellas, has the New Lion and Lossiemouth towards the front, just ahead of State Man. And then you get to Constitution Hill. Should we start with the New Lion because he's the coming horse? How far does he have to go to be this level, Tony?
He has a good bit to go. I mean, when you come out of the novice division and you get in against the real men and women like Lossiemouth and Constitution Hill and State Man.
Oh, you said Constitution before State Man.
Well, yeah, because he was the most exciting horse I ever saw. Unfortunately, now he suffers from the Stevie Wonder job. So what can we do? I mean, you cannot go back in a horse with confidence, even with his brilliant ability.
We're going down the Constitution Hill rabbit hole. So let's do that.
He has made that exact same mistake twice in his life, dive straight through the middle of a hurdle. So that, to me, is an eyesight problem. I know there's a lot.
Is it? Is that your diagnosis, do you think?
Well, he certainly knows how to jump a hurdle.
Yeah.
He did for 2 or 3 seasons, and suddenly he makes these absolutely crazy mistakes.
Could it not be a mental thing? Could it be a panic or a...
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think he was never, when he was at his best, he was never taken out of his comfort zone, so I don't see anything for him to panic about.
Sure.
I believe it's an eyesight thing. There's probably half the country laughing now listening to that, but he certainly didn't forget how to jump.
At least they're laughing at a bit of the show anyway.
But unfortunately...
They have even checked that, though. I don't know how you do check it with a horse, because you can't sit them down in a chair and ask them to read the thing, can you? But they've had a look.
You'll have Matt now praising him in a minute. And look, I love
Stick him on the edge of a cliff and say, "Whoa!"
Yeah, that had answered. But unfortunately, one of the most exciting horses I've seen since Golden Signet, if anyone's old enough to remember him. But
the answer's no
big
to
question
that.
marks.
It's a massive question mark, isn't it? But how shocked would you be, given what we know that Mr. Henderson can do? What we saw him do it with Sprinter Sacre. If anyone can get him back, it's probably that team.
Yeah.
And the way they persevered last year, including going to Ireland after everything that happened, suggests they never lost faith. And they still haven't.
I mean, the Irish was an absolute disaster, but we're going to talk about, I know, Boise, because I know it's a horse you love, Copec de Board. Was Constitution Hill any worse in Ireland than Copec de Board was in Ireland? Horses can come back. Look, the thing with Constitution Hill is, as with all these conversations, Boise, and one of your favourite sayings is, It's about the price, isn't it?
Everything has a price.
And
yeah.
at the moment, you can back Constitution Hill at about 10-1 for the Champion Hurdle. Now, for me, it's a great price. Look, you might do your money straight away. If he runs in the fighting fifth, straight away you might rip your computer up and say, OK, I've done my money. But if he hacks up in the fighting fifth, he's 6-4. And the differential is too big, considering he can run once. And yes, obviously you can
You've fallen off your seat or something. So even if he wins the fight in fifth, how would he be 6-4?
Well, it depends, because it's not impossible to meet the new lion in the fighting fifth.
Now, as a trainer,
in which case,
I know
then
you
we will
understand betting.
But I mean, hold on. What big punter is going to back a horse that, when we get into real champion hurdle racing speed, that can and regularly does dive straight into the middle of a hurdle? So he's never going to be 6-4.
He will be.
Only
That's
in a
what
walkover.
bookmakers do. They're going to. If he hacks up in the fighting fifth, everyone's going to say he's back. The bookmakers will slash him because effectively, if he's back, he's won the champion hurdle already. Now, you're quite right. Of course, he can fall anytime, but any horse can fall anytime. So I do see it differently. But that's the risk. But what I'm saying is 10-1 is worth, for me, that risk.
You're buying a ticket, aren't you?
Yeah, it's like
to what might be in the future.
And it might be the worst ticket you've ever bought, but equally after one race, it might be the best ticket. Now, the eyesight thing's interesting, and Tony, you might be absolutely right about that. But of course, there was a lot more wrong with this horse from a long way out than just eyesight. I mean, he had all sorts of issues. And it's a massive if, but I did see him the other day in the morning, and he looked absolutely amazing, but I'm sure he looked absolutely amazing before Punchestown, so it probably means nothing. But if they have if a rest and a clear run through the winter, through the summer, which is what he's had. Remember last year, during the summer, he was almost dying and they didn't know whether he was going to come back and all that kind of stuff. Like, if he's suddenly thought to himself he's got his mojo back and he's had a clean run through the summer, as we know, and he goes and wins the fighting fifth, he's a short price favourite for the champion. So to cut a long story short, I wouldn't put anyone off backing him at 10-1 for all that I know that he could be the worst bet or the best bet.
And it's an entirely speculative. You're taking a position.
We spend a lot of time talking about a horse that has no chance. So let's move on to the others.
He may have no chance.
Play this back, remember, Tony. It's a very dangerous stance to have taken.
The danger is the whole world is going to spend a lot of time talking about this horse. Let's let him run, and we'll see.
Well, there are some people out there who would say this horse should not be talked about until he's won a race again.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable approach. Actually, just wait.
There's nobody questioning his ability.
Yeah.
Here we are talking again about him now, but there's nobody questioning his ability. But his ability to jump has serious questions to ask and will not be answered until he's jumping at champion hurdle speed.
Yes.
So to me, the fight
might not do
is
until the
irrelevant.
champion hurdle.
If he wins at 20 lengths, he's still the same horse.
Well, yeah, but
I
he's
understand the
taking
point.
on the new lion in the fighting fifth.
It's not irrelevant.
Yeah, and he probably has no chance either. You know, I mean.
Okay.
Well,
Shall we
he
get
has
on to the new
He has
lion?
to move in.
Can we get on to the new lion then?
The new lion has.
He's going to be in the first three in the champion hurdle. Isn't he?
Let me just give you some numbers very quickly. The Anglo-Irish classification, so the Irish handicapper and the British handicappers putting their head together. Last season, the best Constitution Hill achieved was 162, whereas State Man ran to 167. They had him on 167. The new lion, a novice, 159. £3 behind Constitution Hill.
But there's
£8
nothing rare
behind
about
State
that.
No,
No novice is ever going to really be rated more than the champion.
No, my point is how close he is to
Oh, right.
in terms of improvement. It's not.
Forgive him,
he doesn't
Boyce.
have to find 2 stone to be a champion.
No.
No, but to find £8 coming out of novice, you see, when he's a superior novice, he's beating horses on the bridle.
In his comfort
He
zone.
won't get that same chance in a champion hurdle when they turn to go down the back and they're ripping up from 34, 35 miles an hour. And he's going to look beside him and say, my God, you're a real racehorse now, not the novices I was taking on last year.
Yeah, so that's the
So
test for
he
him.
has to prove that he's into open class before.
One
he's a
horse we
genuine
know is
favourite.
definitely open class and was going to run in the champion hurdle all season, without a doubt was going for the champion hurdle all the way through, right up to the eve of the festival, was going in the champion hurdle until she wasn't, was Lossiemouth. Is this the season they do run her in the champion hurdle?
Yeah, well, if I'm studying Willie's way of training all his life, I think it was always the plan to bring her through all the divisions, to bring her. This year is her peak, so hopefully she'll be good enough. But I am going for another horse altogether, an outsider that I think Barry Connell is going to switch back William Money. And
Well, they've said that they are going for the champion hurdle. I think they have. I think they have.
I think it's a great
He's a big
move.
price.
He's a big price, and I think he's going to be very, very much a shorter price shortly. And William Money.
Have I got that wrong? I'm sure I read that somewhere.
No, he is meant to be
champion,
doing.
yeah.
He is, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's that big a price, to be honest.
20 to 1-ish, 16, 20 to 1.
Yeah.
Got a lot to prove.
I don't think he has a lot to prove. He was second to the almighty Kawabunga. Do you know Kawabunga?
I do, but he's got more to prove.
On Kawabunga, very quickly,
And
Tony.
then went on and
Kawabunga.
Sorry.
Sorry, finish your point about.
Yeah, well, I think William Money has danced with the best, and he's only coming to fruition now.
And we know the trainer can bring a horse to Cheltenham.
Yes, he
With
has
that,
done.
the target.
Has done with Marine Nationale,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So it can be done. What about Kawabunga? Where are we with him? Is he back?
Well, I'm not sure if he's back yet,
Okay.
but he had quite a serious injury. Wasn't tendon or ligaments, and so it's a very curable one, but it was a serious
time.
injury just before Cheltenham last year. And of course, he would have bolted in Cheltenham. And,
Well, you told us this time last year about him when he was
Yeah.
any price you like, wasn't he?
He's a very, very good horse. And I think they expect him to come back to 100%. But it'll be interesting to see whether they go hurdling or chasing. He's very exciting horse.
I did ask Rich Ritchie exactly the question about Lossie yesterday. Although when you're watching this, yesterday will be absolutely meaningless. But I said to him, is Lossie being aimed at the champion this time? Another year, same questions. And Rich's response, I was kind of expecting his response to be, yes, it's all out for the champion this year, because that's what everyone has said. But this didn't sound quite so convincing. He said, hi, Matt, no discussions have been had or targets set other than we aim to start her in the Hatton's Grace and take it from there. So...
Well, maybe
It's not a guarantee, is it? I mean,
No, but
it's not where...
They got pelters, didn't they, for not running in the champion hurdle, having said that they were going to run in the champion hurdle. So you can understand Rich Ritchie and Willie Mullins probably, they're on a hiding to nothing. We'll wait and see, I
Well, you
guess.
see, this is where ante-post betting can be a little dangerous, because Willie and Rich Ritchie both are going to aim her where they think she'll win.
Exactly.
So if they
This
have
is-
to change at the last minute to put her in the race that they feel she has her best chance, that's a pity for the ante-post
But
people.
getting back to the new line, if Lossiemouth went mares, if Constitution Hill can't see,
Yeah.
and State Man is the big danger at Cheltenham, and we know, really, although his record technically in numbers is good at Cheltenham, he doesn't seem to be the same good in England, horse in England as he is in Ireland. The new line suddenly becomes a massive price at around somewhere between 3 and 4 to 1. It's like it
In his favour is, his intended route.
and he stays really strongly for a 2-miler. He's
Yeah,
got that Easter Brackness, hasn't he?
It's a good thing for a champion hurl, but he still has to move from novice class into open class. And that sounds an easy transition every year. But
There might not be much in the open class, is really what I'm saying. Like, you're saying he has to move, but, it might only be Stateman come champion hurdle day.
But a lot of those very good hurdlers he was up against are going chasing, which does make it more
The new line, this is not a big prediction, incidentally, I'm not claiming it, but he will be in the first 3 in the champion hurdle. We know that already. Bar an accident, he will be in the first 3.
was a
I'm
sceptical
very
look.
surprised at that. Yeah, I mean, he could very well be. We haven't even mentioned the present champion hurdler, Golden Ace. Now,
Yep.
she's dead reliable. She won the Mayor's Hurl, she won the champion hurl, and nobody even mentioning her.
Brushed aside by State Man in Ireland, though.
I mean, there are
Yes,
reasons
but
why
he-
no
he-
one's mentioning it.
Yeah, but
She can't win it.
they said that last year. I think even the trainer said it last year,
Yeah.
and she won it.
The interesting thing
So-
about her is,
It was the perfect storm last year, though. Wasn't
Yeah, it was,
Well,
but-
this year, actually. This year.
This year, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last season.
she would have the option, obviously, of going mares, but you'd assume, as the reigning champion hurdler, you'd probably campaign her the same way. She's only run over hurdles 9 times, I think, when I looked. So 6 from 9 over hurdles. When I saw that, I thought, well, hold on. If she goes the same route, going back to your point about New York, what price is she on the day if she lines up in a 7-runner champion hurdle if everything else
How
has
many
fallen
champion
away?
hurdles did Dawn run with?
the one that she was asked to win.
Yeah, and is Golden Ace better than?
And she won 3 champion hurls that year. The Irish, English and French has never been done and will never be done.
We all know her record, and she'd won a lot more if she stood up on occasions. But
When she fell with John Joe in Aintree, was it? Is that what you're talking about?
got to let it go. Got to let it go. But I don't know. Look, everyone loves Golden Ace. Everyone loves the owner, the trainer, the story. It's all fantastic. But something's gone wrong if she wins 2 champion hurdles.
Okay, let's wrap this up then.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're taking a ticket at 10 to 1.
I'll take a ticket on Constitution Hill. But for me, if Constitution Hill isn't Constitution Hill, then the new Lion will be the new kid on the block.
And for you, Tony, you're William Money.
William Money, and I
price.
think he'll be much shorter. I think when, what do you call him, JP's horse there that you just mentioned, New Line, to me, has a lot of questions to answer being favourite. I would put a black mark beside him, actually.
I'd be more in your camp with the New Line. I think.
Well, you've always been a highly intelligent.
I think he hopefully goes the right way. I think it's almost impossible to have a bet on it at the moment. I take your point about the New Line as a kind of percentage call at this stage.
His odds, if he was 5 to 1 or bigger, you could easily back him each way.
Put him in your
but he's
E-Train
not
multis.
quite at that.
Yeah.
You need him at bigger. And of course, if Constitution Hill and the New Line do meet in the fighting fifth, do we think they'll both turn up? If they do, then that
be a belter. We must move on. Just a word about a free bet offer courtesy of TalkSport Bet. This is for this weekend, actually. So if you're watching this much further down the line, this is for Chepstow, the Welsh Racing Festival meeting at Chepstow. This is on the Saturday. Get a £5 free bet every single race at Chepstow on the Saturday. That's £35 worth of free bets in total, 7 races. You've got to be 18 or over. You've got to opt in and deposit. There are various terms and conditions which you may see on the screen right now. Do gamble responsibly, of course, but that's a nice offer there for you for Chepstow on Saturday if you're watching this when freshly minted. Staying hurdle division up next. Right, let's move on and talk about the staying hurdle division, the 3-mile hurdle division, and some returning stars here and some newcomers to the division as well. Very open from a market point of view. If we look at the prices for this, Tearpoo generally favourite, Ballyburn heading back over hurdles in there as well. Jasmine DeVoe not too far behind. Then we get into double figures with the likes of Bob Ollinger, good old Bob Ollinger if he comes back again, and the Yellow Clay, etc. So Tearpoo went close last year. Tony won it the year before. Can he regain his crown, Tearpoo? Trainer knows how to do it.
He probably sets the standard. He's never got the big buck sort of accolades, and probably because he wasn't as superior as Big Buck was. But he's there. Jasmine DeVoe is very interesting from Willie, and Ballyburn, who didn't make it over fences quite to the same degree as he did over hurls, so maybe he's interesting coming back. They're the ones, but the Yellow Clay for me, if Matt's great favourite in the champion hurl obliges
the New Lion,
this lad was only 3/4 of a length off him in the 2-5 novice hurl last year, so I think they call it the Turners now, so the Yellow Clay would be 3/4 of a length off what Matt calls a genuine favourite for the champion hurl. So, and this lad will stay.
You're going to emphasise that a few times, aren't we? Even when we get to the Gold Cup, you'll be going back to the new.
I'll be going back to what you say.
It's really got to you.
It has, because it makes no sense.
We've moved on.
It's a very good point about the. I like the Yellow Clay's price a lot for this, but we must start, I suppose, with Tearpoo, who.
I mean, with our kind sponsors, Tearpoo is around 4 to 1, but I think it's. We have to be a bit honest and say you can get 6 to 1 out there. And for me, it is exactly the same situation as Constitution Hill. Absolute bet to nothing at 6 to 1. Back it each way, Tearpoo. Right now, the horse would have to be injured not to run in the Stayers Hurdle. We know that. That is the only race it's going to run in at Cheltenham. And he would have to run massively below par not to be in the first 3 at the very least. And the chances are he'll go and win it if he's there on the day. I think the reason he hasn't really captured the imagination recently is he doesn't run very much. He's one of those that has 1 or 2 perhaps runs before Cheltenham. But this is, for me, an incredibly weak division. For some reason, I think it's slightly, I don't know why, it's slightly got out of favour, the Stayers Hurdle. I've always loved it, but it's not a strong division.
What about the new blood coming in? Ballyburn, who's a hugely talented horse if we go back to his hurdling days.
Yeah, Matt, that's not fair. Like, I mean, he was a brilliant novice hurdler that didn't take to chasing, so he's coming back now. Big Bucks did that.
But he's never going to outstay Tiapu.
Tiapu did get beat last year.
No.
Just to remind you.
But in one of those races where you're thinking, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think he lost anything. I mean, the new kid on the block is El Clavel, the French raider, 5-year-old, a Zetterman George horse, who, when it won the Grand Course d'E, that's in France.
I know, I rode the winner of it on a particular mare.
No way. God, she must have been a good jumper that day. When El Clavel, who's a horse a lot of people won't have heard of, but thankfully because Sky Sports Racing does so much French racing now, you do get to see these horses a bit more. Had horses like Montmirail well beaten off that day. Hewitt was out the back of Mittley, he's a chaser, but it was a good performance. But it's only a 5-year-old, I suppose it'll be 6-year-old next year. It's still
in fairness, the French horses are trained more forward, so being a 5-year-old.
Might not be the end of the
might
world.
not be the end of the world with a French trained horse.
And we'd have had that in the past with the likes of the mighty
We've had a few of these sort of French horses that we've quite
They
liked
don't
coming
always
out.
come up to scratch, and it's a different ball game over our hurdles and stuff. Look, I'm so boring here, I'm not going to go on about it, because saying Tiapu to our viewers, you might as well not even talk about the race. But just sometimes I think punters don't think about things, and like he is 6-1 in places. Like, he can't be out the first 3 unless he's not there.
I'm not sure about that. If you get Ballyburn, Jasmine DeVoe, who's I think is a bit clumsy, Jasmine DeVoe, but it's clearly got an engine and motors and stays.
So you think Tiapu won't be in the first 3 if he's in the race?
It depends what comes in this new wave of horses coming through. The Yellow Clay, a novice last year. The Yellow Clay is 14-1, and is also definitely being aimed at this race. This was said the other day from Gordon Elliott's team and the owner. I think they're definitely training him for a staying hurdle
You need
campaign.
to use this show as an education, okay? You need to start learning a bit. Like, this is a knocking each way ante-post bet. Why is it a knocking each way ante-post bet? Because A, you know that there's only one race this horse will run in.
Ditto the Yellow Clay.
No, you don't know that at all.
Well, that's their plan.
Well, that's different.
That's
a plan is different. It was Constitution Hill's plan to do lots of things last. It didn't happen. A plan is different to fact.
He did one thing twice. He crashed out, so he did, yeah. Go on.
You know all about crashing out.
I understand.
Crashing out's your thing.
I understand completely the argument you're making. And actually, his prize may hold up if other horses perform, because we won't see that much of him during the season, because he's campaigned the same way every year. He has to
he'll probably go for the Galmoy in Gorn and straight to Cheltenham. And he's a very good horse, but I mean, in what is potentially, as you say, new horses coming through this year, you could have a change of the guard. And I see the Yellow Clay would be fantastic price at 14-1, and Jasmine DeVoe coming through for Willie, and Willie wins an odd race at Cheltenham.
I always think that's a mare. It's not, of course, Jasmine DeVoe's gelding, is it? But
7-8
to 1, I think Jasmine DeVoe. 14-1, the Yellow Clay, with our friends at TalkSport Bet. I like that price, not least because he is the stablemate of Tiapu. So,
yeah, I thought it was interesting that they nominated him publicly as a horse for the Stayers. It just sounded to me like he was their main horse.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. We like him. We like him.
He was a great horse in his time. Might be over.
Anything else in there? Jimmy DeSoy, would he be a Stayers type, or is he more a 2.5?
Well, he's coming out of a handicap company,
Yeah.
isn't he? Danny won the Coral on him last year, was it?
Yes, he did. Won it well though.
He has to go up and win. Go up another couple of furlongs. He has to come out of handicap company. It's not impossible. He has his chance, but I would imagine Jasmine DeVoe for me is a better horse, and Ballyburn is potentially.
Final Demand. Would Final Demand stretch out? Would Final Demand be aimed at this, do you think, this year?
Yeah, well, just looking back at form and that, he won in Punchestown, but that was when the Yellow Clay fell, or probably he was well beaten when he fell.
He was
but
just behind
I'd
the
say
Yellow Clay,
Final
wasn't he?
Demand is in the pecking order.
There's another one there, isn't
He's
it?
down a
You
bit.
see, there's loads of them there. These last year's novices. There's some good ones in there.
Final Demand is going to be. I think. I mean, hold on. the argument with the new Lion. You now with the stairs hurdle, you're going the other way and say, oh, the young pretender. Like he's got a mountain to find with a horse like Teahupoo. Teahupoo is right up there as a class staying hurdler, top class.
I just, he's grand, you know. But he's yesterday's stuff, in my opinion. I think he was a very good horse. And
You beat Stateman.
Huh?
You beat Stateman
When?
in the past.
on that day.
All horses have been beaten. You know, Istabraq was beaten on occasion.
Well, Frank
But Teahupoo, to me, I'm just saying that I think he's maybe gone past it, and the new young pretenders coming up.
You seem to have a funny way of changing the argument when you want to.
Yeah, but they're two different
emphasise
divisions.
something.
Champion Hurl is a speed division. This is a stamina division.
It's also about the prices. One is 4-1 favourite at the front of the market, which was your point about the new Lion. Whereas
Well, I leave
think
all
that
the
was his
betting.
point at all, boys.
I leave the betting to ye. I mean, I'm trying to name the horse that I believe has the best chance, and let you get your value wherever.
You say leave the betting to us, but have you just a little tangent here? But I know our viewers will love this. Have you ever had it right off on one of your horses? Like, have you landed a big punt that actually made a difference?
Oh yeah.
On what? Which one?
I mean, plenty of them.
Really?
Particularly one that won a 130 grand race was when Danny was a flat apprentice, rock and roll kid.
Yeah.
I won a lot of money
Did
that
you?
day. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Don't you love? Look at the twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, that was, well, Danny winning a huge race as an apprentice. Barry Connell owned him and bred him. And
You have the rock and roll kid wing at home.
yeah, it was. We have, yeah. Could encompass the whole house. But that was a great day.
How
in
important
Galway.
are those days, though?
That's
When
what
you
we do it for,
find the
because
right horse to exploit it, you know, to make it count.
Yeah, I have a young horse coming on now at the moment called Letos. I have a lot of very middling horses at the moment. They're running well, but Letos, I think, he got beaten the other day in Tipperary, but maybe a good horse of Henry de Bromhead's beat him. For a tip for your viewers, that we intend to go for the Brown Lad Hurl, which is a good handicap hurl, 2.5 mile handicap hurl in early November in Naas. And there's an early bet for you, and forget the fighting fifth.
Viewer.
There you go, viewer. You've been told. That's appreciated, Tony. Thank you for that. It's a very good question as well. We're going to wrap up this staying hurdle division. Teahupoo, bet to nothing.
It's so boring, and I'm not telling anyone anything they don't know, but it was a nice
You're
chat.
playing the maths, as you see it. That's your argument with that. We're
Yellow Clay.
One voice, Yellow Clay, 14 to 1.
Willie with a barrage of horses and
Yeah,
Yellow
yeah.
Clay to come out on top.
Yeah, it's I could, yeah. We'll see come the spring what kind of division it is. I think there might be a bit more depth in it by the time we get around to that. We will see. Now, if you haven't already visited the At The Races website, you should do so, because there's a dedicated jump season guide. It's up and running now. Jumps season guide 2025-2026. There is loads of stuff. The stable tours, some are already up, but they'll be added to all the time. So keep checking back for that. There's stats guides, there's dark horses, there's new horses to follow, point-to-point recruits, all kinds of stuff in there, which will help us out. I'm wishing I'd read more of it before this show. To be honest, I might have had some more.
Yes,
Usually you do an
dark
anti-post. Have you
horses
not done your
come-
anti-post thing? Usually you do a little anti-post thing.
No.
But when you know, the At The Races site is the best. I always go to it. But then when you get in on it, there's so much information on it. You get so boggled. You say, "Geez, I'm sorry I did that."
There goes your evening.
They have everything there for you.
There's great stuff. I did
And
the dark
it's-
horses last year. I think Ed Quigley's done it this year, the 10 horses. And I didn't have a single winner from my 10, but nearly all of them placed in their big races. It was annoying. It was annoying.
Yeah, it's
Not
a bit-
nearly all of them, half of them probably placed.
A bit like the new line. It'll be a nearly job.
Yeah, they're all nice prices. We'll come back to one or two of those in the course. We must move on. Our next division is the 2 mile chase division, the champion chase division, if you like. Actually, we're talking about these divisions. Have you got a favourite division? I asked that because I think this is probably historically my favourite division. The 2 mile chasers, they're like the 100 metre sprinters. It's exciting. There's zero margin for error. You have horses who cut the
It's
margins so
amazing.
fine.
It's amazing that you know, with all Willie's winners and the great Irish winners over the years, the one that really made me tingle was Sprinter Sacre in
The
I
comeback
think
one.
2013. No, the comeback one was great,
all
and
right.
it was a fantastic training achievement.
Yeah.
But the greatest display of jumping and speed I ever saw was Sprinter Sacre winning his first
Yeah.
one with Barry Geraghty.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything about the two jockeys. Just the day that he won the champion chase with Barry Geraghty riding him as a young horse was the most spine-tingling display of a 2 mile chaser
It's
I've ever
brutal,
seen.
isn't it? Brutal and beautiful at the same time. That when they're that good.
I remember that day on the stand looking and saying, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Speed, accuracy, the confidence with which Barry could ride him because he knew what he had under him. It was, for me, the race of all time.
When you're watching that, you imagining, because you've sat
Yeah,
on
yeah.
what it feels like. You
When
know,
you're
you
riding
know what it feels like.
a big 17 hands horse and he's meeting one 15, 18 feet out and he just lifts
Flying
like
through the air.
a plane taking off. I mean, it's some feeling.
Yeah.
I did it on Dawn Run a few times.
Just didn't always take off.
What is it a division you like?
100%.
Matt? Yeah.
And if you actually go through the championship races, it's the only division for me that has 2 races that are equal, and that is the Tingle Creek and the Champion Chase. The Gold Cup doesn't have an equal. The Stairs Hurdle doesn't have an equal, and the Champion Hurdle doesn't have an equal. But the 2 mile chasing division, the Tingle Creek and the Champion Chase for me are equals, and absolutely 100%. And again, with most of these races, it's kind of the age you are and when you got into it. But there are periods of golden periods, and the Champion Chase period. I mean, I used to love the time around Travado and those kind of horses.
Viking Flagship, all that time.
Those, like Viking Flagship, Martha's Son, Deep Sensation. Like, in fact, you could almost add in Aintree for those 3 as well. But
Are you old enough to remember Badsworth Boy?
well, Badsworth Boy, I know won 3. I mean,
Yeah.
no, I didn't follow every race of his, obviously, because I wasn't born, obviously. It was about 1980. But he was a hero. And, of course, Michael Dickinson, whatever any other horse has come along, will say he was the greatest 2 mile chaser of all time. But, again, Waterloo Boy was in that Viking Flagship.
They were brilliant.
They were just very promising. All those horses.
Desertiat, Moscow Flyer, those
Absolutely.
years.
There were
Great
periods.
years, great
Yeah, and
years,
remember actually it was the Arkle in the novice division when Bobsline met Neil Doughty riding Noddy's Ride.
Noddy's Ride,
I
yeah.
mean, those races, if you're really into racing, to watch those horses going at that speed over those prolific fences, I mean, it's spine-tingling stuff.
Yeah. Moscow Flyer would be 1-1 F, 1-1 U, because like that was the margin of error
Moscow
because he was
Flyer, another-
attacking them like.
Yeah, but you never said Moscow Flyer couldn't see, did you?
Well, he
No,
could,
well,
but he was
he-
jumping so low and quick. I said to Barry Geraghty once, would you, how do you feel about that going? He said you wouldn't take that away from him because that's what makes him.
Yeah, I mean,
So deadly.
this
He's
is
a
what,
bad
it's a
jumper.
bit like Chapman, the thin line between brilliance and madness.
That's it.
You know?
That's
and
it.
unfortunately, poor old Chappers goes the wrong
Sometimes
side
when
of
you
the
misjudge it, you just go cartwheeling through the air in slow motion, Matt.
You know,
I mean,
thin line.
I can't
Right.
remember going on the brilliant side ever, to be honest.
We've reminisced. We should talk
Yeah.
about this year's division
Yeah.
because
Okay.
it's kind of open and we've got lots of question marks again. I suppose Marine Nationale, we assume Tony will be campaigned,
For the champion chase. I'm sure,
brilliantly
yeah.
to come back again.
Yes, and then you have Willie's big horse, JP's Margeborough. He's,
he can't jump.
Where are you on him, Tony? Because
huge ability. I agree with Matt. This is our first agreement that he has a little problem with jumping, and that is a big problem in a champion chase at that sort of speed.
Yeah.
So, but he has the ability, and if he did pull his jumping together, he has the ability to be there in it.
can we think of an example of a horse like him who has a massive engine and the jumping was a big
Moscow-
question
Well,
mark?
Moscow Flyer was
And
one. Yeah.
Was he? I
Like
think
he
that's
did fall a couple of times. Now it wasn't just one.
Oh no, I know,
Yeah.
but for me that's because of the way he attacked his fence, which was kind of a strength. Whereas with Margeborough, he's doing stuff which you just don't want to see, like he's jumping left, he's correcting.
Yeah, but very often I've seen that with horses that could have had a pulled muscle last season, something that was unnoticeable to the people.
So it could be fixable.
Because he didn't do it over hurls. He won the Triumph, didn't he?
Precious,
And like he
yeah.
jumped very straight and all.
Yeah.
So And I don't think at his size now he's worried about the big fences. I think he might have just have had a little twinge last year.
Okay.
And he's a horse that could.
But in a way, it makes it interesting. The question,
Sean, is no, and that is the key answer to the question. Is no. Champion chasers, unless it's one of those years, and we've had a couple, 2 or 3 recently, that something just wins it, and you think, how the hell did that win? It's like it's just not a champion chaser, and usually that's happened because of accidents to others on the way round.
Yeah.
Duvan, of course, was famously falling all the time, but the answer is no. They jump well.
But this is what makes it one of the most exciting races in racing, because it is that brilliant speed and accuracy that at the speed they're going, you make a mistake and you're going to pay for it.
Another horse we know is brilliant, but we don't know if he's still all together, is Sergino. He's had a long time to recover from what started off as a fairly minor thing, turned into an infection, was pretty serious.
Yeah. But he's Constitution Hill, isn't he? Because effectively, on what he did on his chasing debut, and the way he did it, and the way he jumped, and the way he's built, and the man who trains him, who just thinks he's a genius, this horse, Genius Gino, without doubt, like Constitution Hill and the Champion Hurdle, I think this horse is in a different league.
He's more like a 3-to-1 shot rather than a 10-to-1 shot. That's the trouble.
That's the problem.
The problem with him, though, I'm told he won't run till after Christmas. And he could be like a horse Nicky Anderson had years ago, See You When they nicknamed him, because he only ran in the Champion Hurdle, was his first run of the season. So there's a little bit of a danger you won't get to
3 of them,
see him. Yeah, I know. And
I mean, this is a tricky one, because will John Bon end up in the Ryanair? Well,
who cares? Yeah.
Well,
he's a wonderful horse, Tony.
He's a wonderful horse, but are we?
Cheltenham?
I suppose this is a jumps preview for the season and not for Cheltenham, where we've honed in a bit on Cheltenham. But John Bon is not as good around Cheltenham.
Yeah, but a fantastic.
I'm not still convinced about that. But anyway, but just on that, like, you've got to think of, is the Ryanair necessarily going to be easier to win than the Champion Chase? Because you're going to end up with 5 or 6 runners.
Yep.
Who knows about Sergino? Masborough doesn't jump that well. Il Était Tombe is a fantastic horse, but is he a real champion? I don't think he is. And suddenly, what price have our sponsors got John Bon at the moment?
10-to-1.
10, 12-to-1, something like that, out there in the big village. I think he's a cracking each-way bet, John Bon, because I'm not convinced he doesn't like Cheltenham.
Even though he might not run in the race.
Yeah.
Because if he does,
he's going to be in the first 3. Yeah. Even if he hits every fence, he'll be in the first 3.
That's the amazing thing about him, isn't it? And so you're not convinced that it's Cheltenham.
Well, he's won and jumped well round Cheltenham. So just to say he doesn't like it, maybe the trip for him is just a bit short. Like if it was 2 mile 2, 2 mile 3, he'd be perfect. And he is going to go up, I think, in trip this season, although it doesn't look so much now that the King George was muted, but I'm not so sure about that now, because I think Django Bay will be their big King George horse. But if he comes back, because he was injured at the end of last season, he had a fracture somewhere along the line after entry, but he's
very good horse.
He's fine now. I've seen him. He's walking. He's fine. But I don't know. For me, John Bon's the value each way. If you're going to have an ante-post bet, John Bon each way.
Okay, interesting one. Where are you landing on this, Tony? Are you keeping faith in Masborough? They get his jumping together?
No, I haven't a big opinion on the Champion Chase. Sergino is the best horse. We're not going to get a look at him.
Yeah.
I think, let's step back from the Champion Chase for the moment. Could we get a bit more of a look?
This is the jumps preview show.
We
can't step back.
Season.
We're stepping in.
Well, to step in, you see, the best horse around is not going to run till after Christmas. So I suppose at the moment, I'm going to chance Masborough as a horse that got a reputation for being not as good a jumper, and I don't believe it.
Presumably they'll want to get him out and test that.
Yeah,
do you think?
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Will he? Usually that will be answered definitely at Christmas or at the Leopardstown Festival. Okay. But you see, this year now, he has so many for every division that a lot of these horses could travel to England.
Yeah.
He has a plan to, go to Cheltenham November and the Ascots and Sandowns before Christmas. So you could see
we
a
saw
lot
that quite a few
more
times
of-
last year, didn't we? Ballyburn came and took on Sergino. And
Well, if he wants to be, the thing is, if he wants to be champion trainer, he
Why
can't.
do you keep saying this? If he wants to be, of course he wants to be a champion. trainer.
Okay, well, if
This is idiotic statement.
you said if he wants to be as well. Okay, if Willie is setting out to be champion trainer, because he has to set out, because he can't rely on winning the champion hurdle, the Gold Cup, the Grand National every year.
well, he just needs to win the national.
You need to put a little bit more in line before that, in case you don't win. Although you probably have 10 in the Grand National, but you can't guarantee you'll win the Grand National every year. So that 800, 900, £1 million, it'd be nice to get a few of that in the kitty before the Grand National, so you've got a bit more of a.
Yeah, but I believe that this year he is going to travel a lot more to the major Saturday meetings right
That's what
through
we're
the
saying,
season.
like-
Because his powerhouse at the moment is
he's got too many horses. There's not enough targets in
it's
Ireland.
just unreal.
Just finally with Masborough, I'll never forget, because I was in the enclosure after that Triumph Hurdle, and Willie was so adamant that I can't believe this horse has won the Triumph, because he's just a chaser. He's just a great big chaser. And he emphasised that time and time again, that he was shocked in some ways, to a certain extent, that he'd been able to
Yeah,
win
but
a Triumph Hurdle.
to give a little explanation, do you remember the Simon Munir horse? I can never think of his name. He won the Arkle with Willie. And an absolute display of jumping that you never saw in your life.
Fabiolo.
It's about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And then he
Fabiolo.
came out the following year. Fabiola, was it?
El
El
Fabiolo,
Fabiolo. He came out the following season, he couldn't jump a fence. So he had a problem. He didn't forget how to jump. So he had a little problem. I don't know, did they
couldn't
ever
see.
find it? Maybe he couldn't see, is right.
His contact lens
But
fell out.
do you know what I mean?
Racing in blind horse shock as stables go down.
But I just think that Marshborough is a possible improver. I think horses can on a season. I remember the year that Hurricane Fly got beaten in the middle. He won the Champion Hurl, then he got beaten, and then he won again the following year. On that middle year, he wasn't the same.
I
horse.
hope you're right. I hope his jumping comes together, and I hope Sergino is sound. And then imagine those two boys
One horse we haven't
in
mentioned,
terms of their talent.
and we need to move on, I'm sure, but we haven't mentioned Khalif de Burle.
No.
And if Paul Nicholls has, well, Caldwell Potter is very good, but if he has something just completely out of the ordinary, it could just be Khalif de Burle. So he's not worth. I mean, I couldn't back him ante-post, but he could, by the end of the season, he could be one of the top 2 minors.
He's a 14-1 shot, and again in the right place in terms of handling that type of horse.
Look good at age.
Obviously, Khalif de Burle. Another horse that we haven't mentioned. Don't laugh when I mention it, because he's a horse I've got a soft spot for, and he's
you're
a
gonna
very,
say
very
Quilixios.
talented horse. I'm not going to say Quilixios.
Oh, good.
I'd love to see him running over 2 miles. He's coming to be trained here now rather than
Ile de France.
Ile Francais.
Whatever his name is.
Ile
yeah.
Francais, who I think he's just run him over 2 miles and see what happens. But he's going to be aimed at the King George first. He's going to go well in the King George potentially again. He bursts, unfortunately, in Blees, and that's a problem, and we know that's a problem. So bear that in mind. But 25-1 for the champion chase, and even bigger in
His
some
performance
places.
in the Carto Star Novice
Yeah.
a couple of seasons ago was something spine-tingling.
He's a
but,
phenomenal horse. But he has
he
a hole
has
in it.
problems,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you know.
We,
I mean, yeah.
Exactly. You know where you are with that, and factor that into your calculations. But could you win a King George and a champion chase in the same? Has that ever been done? Not in the same season, I don't think. Ever. That would be a mad
it'd be
thing
hard
to
to
do.
see a horse
Mad thing to
campaigned
do.
over 3 miles
Yeah,
and then
then
go
drop
back to 2. The only horse I remember that could do it, of course, other than Dawn Run, who did it several times, and several times she did it over hurls and fences. But Cahill Star did it. He won the Good Race in Sandown, the
Tingle Creek.
Tingle Creek, and won the Gold Cup in the same season, wasn't
Was it the same season?
I think
One
so.
man's last big win was the champion chase. Do you remember that? He
Yes.
was a staying chaser. We
Yes.
thought he was a staying chaser. But
Yeah.
the very good ones, I think, can do it. But anyway, we're not
final
going down
thing.
the Ile Francais
It
rabbit
can
hole.
be done, that's
Yeah.
the point.
I don't know what price our trusty sponsor got, but Liberty Hunter's 100-1.
Ooh.
And he fell when last seen at Cheltenham, but he would have got into the frame, and he was 33-1 on the day.
He's always a forgotten horse, isn't
If
he?
there were 6 or 7 runners and he was one of them,
Yeah.
he'd be out the back.
Yep.
If you were on ante-post to the 100-1,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be the most unexciting slip you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
I have to say, I haven't forgotten him because I don't remember him. I don't remember him to start.
He's
So I
he's
don't even
capable
know
of,
what horse you're talking about.
Yeah, picking up some pieces.
He's Evan Williams, and he'll be a 10-year-old. He was 4 lengths down when fell 3 out.
He's the sort of horse that I would like in these races, which you know are going to cut up to 6 or 7 runners, so you back each way without the favourite and stuff like that, and you hope they plug into fourth and stuff like that. And as Matt says, if you're on at monstrous prices, they can be good fun to have.
Hasn't come on my radar.
I mean, you only have to have a fiver each way at 100 to 1.
Exactly.
And if you slip into the first 3, you've suddenly got a 25 to 1 winner, roughly.
Okay, so again, a bit like the Champion Hurdle division, lots of ifs and buts and maybes. I hope Sergino is back because what an exciting horse. And I'm with you on Majborough. Until he proves it, I want to see him jump better.
I don't believe he's a bad jumper. I think he has displayed those tendencies.
There'll be a reason for it.
There'll be a reason.
They'll get
I
to the
mean,
bottom
he's
of
so
it.
just. You're just winding yourself up over what you're. If you played your conversation on Constitution Hill and Majborough together, you'd be in the nut house. Honestly, you'd be in the nut house.
And we've got Marine Nationale in there. It could be a fantastic. If it all
It
comes
is a
together.
fantastic
If
race
it all comes together, it'd be great.
at this stage. Yeah.
Right. Just a quick word on another offer from our friends at TalkSport Bet. This is an offer. Bet £15 on racing at odds of 2 to 1 or greater. Get a free £5 bet for every race at Chepstow on Saturday. Now, we're recording this just prior to the Welsh Racing Festival that will go out ahead of the weekend. So this is the Saturday at Chepstow. There's a few offers. Check them all out. This is another offer for Chepstow on Saturday. If that's already happened, well, you've missed the boat on that particular. But stay tuned because we've got loads of
No
good
one
chat.
understood it anyway, Boyce, so don't worry.
Terms and conditions apply.
Did you understand
the
that?
value of your investment can go down as well as up. Let's talk about this. Should we talk about the big one, the staying
easy.
chase
Just take 1
division,
minute.
the Gold Cup, King George type division?
Is this the division that Matt referred to one day as the slow horses chase? I'll never forget that. About 10 years ago. You've grown up since then now. I mean,
He's matured.
Oh my God, it was an awful statement.
Those days when you were making statements like that, you were just a crazy
they were.
kid, weren't
I
you?
mean,
Just-
it's true, isn't it? The class horses go in the champion chase and the boats go in the Gold Cup. That's true.
Oh man, what a...
That's sacrilege. You know
And then
that.
someone says, "Oh, Corto Star wasn't a boat." Of course, there are exceptions to every rules, you nutters.
But that's what makes them champions.
Right, move on.
And that's
move
what
on.
we're
This
looking
was a
for,
quick
champions.
section.
Yeah.
So the Gold Cup, of course, the winner won't be allowed to run in it. Factifile, he'll run in the Ryanair, which drives me nuts.
When you say the winner, you mean your idea of the
yeah,
winner.
he's the best horse. Yeah. Factifile.
It won't be allowed because of ownership and targets.
Yeah, well, I'd say because JP will have, I know the way you're thinking,
Yeah.
who's
reigning
a horse
champion.
that I'm sitting on the fence on still. Now, he won the Gold Cup last year. He beat Galopin Des Champs. I believe, in my opinion, Galopin Des Champs wasn't A1 on the day because he's simply a better horse than I know the way you're thinking. And I would dearly love to see Factifile take him on just because he beat him in Leopardstown. He was, again, this is going back to Factifile was only coming out of his novice season. The other lad was seasoned and he's very good around Leopardstown. So I don't think that he proved that he was a better horse. Galopin Des Champs proved that he was a better horse than Factifile. And in my opinion, Factifile would win the Gold Cup if he was allowed. But unfortunately,
He might
won't
be.
be allowed.
He might be, depending on what happens with I know.
Well, I can't-
And you might fire more than one shot at it, mightn't you?
Well, I can't see JP firing 2 bullets at the Gold Cup and no bullet at the Ryanair.
So Factifile, if he could run that. But we're talking about the whole jump season, so you're going to be with Factifile wherever he goes, presumably.
Yeah, I'd imagine he'll be aimed at possibly the John Durkin, where he probably meet faster slow, and then maybe the King George. Gaelic Warrior would be my horse there, you see. So, and there's another horse that people have completely ignored for the Gold Cup, Gaelic Warrior. This horse is much better horse than I ever thought he was, but he is. This is a fantastic horse.
14s for the Gold Cup, Gaelic Warrior.
Yeah.
No, he won the Arkle.
Oh, he won the Arkle, yeah. I mean, a kicking king job, and
Yeah.
what was the presenting horse of Jigginstown? that won the Arkle, or just got beaten the Arkle actually, and won the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
So you know, you need for a Gold Cup, you need a horse with 2 mile speed and proven stamina. And Gaelic Warrior falls into that category perfectly.
No, that used to be quite the route, didn't it? Kicking King, War of Attrition, Quick Succession, Arkle,
War of
King
Attrition,
George.
that was ours,
War of Attrition.
I couldn't have Gaelic Warrior on my mind for the Gold Cup, I've got to say. For the reason of the name of the horse you just mentioned, that it is a war of attrition. I don't think Gaelic Warrior is a war of attrition type of horse.
Well, in saying that, then we just mentioned too War of Attrition, who was just beat, I think, in an Arkle.
He was,
Yeah.
And Kicking King won an Arkle, and they both came out and won the Gold Cup the following season, or the season after. Yeah, no, the following
it was,
season.
yeah, in both cases, yeah.
And you know, so I know from the couple of Gold Cup winners that I sat on, didn't ride them in the Gold Cup, but Dawn Run, Bregon, these are years ago now, but they were horses that I rode. They had some speed.
You ride Bregon?
No, I rode him. He came back to our place as an old horse.
Bregon, wasn't he? He was a bit of a dodge.
He was a bit of a dodge, but by God, to ride him work. And I remember riding him work as a 12-year-old, and I said, my God, the speed you have.
It goes back to our study, but the Gold Cup horses do have speed.
And also have to have speed to win a
Champion
Gold Cup.
chasers also have huge stamina reserves. It sounds contradictory, but that they can maintain a gallop at a level that other horses just can't. So the things can go together.
No, yeah, I think it's interesting that Matt is not as bullish about Gaelic Warrior. I think he fits all the... I wasn't a fan of his,
I hadn't really
but
thought
he
of it,
made me a fan himself by keep proving me wrong. He's possibly a Gold Cup horse at fantastic value.
I did ask Rich about Gaelic Warrior. He says, and this brings on, I haven't got much to say about the Gold Cup because I mean, I think it's fairly obvious where to go in this race. But he said Gaelic Warrior will go John Durkan, which actually would probably be the right trip for him and going the right way round. Remember, historically, he's always been better right-handed. So John Durkan and then King George. That's where Gaelic Warrior is going, all being well. I think it's worth at this stage reminding people about what happens with these Gold Cup horses. They run in the John Durkan and the bookmakers completely lose their marbles. And for some reason, the bookmakers react. Is it 2 mile, extended 2 mile 3, the John Durkan, is that right? Yeah. They react to an extended 2 mile 3 race, seemingly forgetting that the Gold Cup is over 3 mile 2, and you get these ridiculous prices about horses.
And if you pardon the pun, they forget which is fast and which is slow.
That's why you get the good big bucks. And we've had this with Galopin Des Champs. I mean, he is, for me, absolutely in the same situation as Tiapu when it comes to the Gold Cup. He's 6-1 in a place. He is going to be aimed at one race, which is the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and he'd have to fall over not to be in the first 3. And he's the best horse. And the reason I don't like a Gaelic Warrior is if there weren't really, really strong stairs in the Gold Cup, I could give Gaelic Warrior a squeak. But these are Galopin Des Champs is a really strong stair. He'd go 5 miles Galopin Des Champs, no problem at all. He's got the cruising speed of a 2 miler, but he just relentless. He just goes on and on. And for me, if he's there, he will win it because going back to exactly what you said at the start, I don't think he was at his best Gold Cup day. And there were reasons on the day and lots of rumours that he wasn't going to be at his best. He ran perfectly okay, but there wasn't quite that je ne sais quoi. And I've no doubt for me, it's weird because a lot of the races are quite similar to what we've had this year. But I think Tiapu, Galopin Des Champs, the Constitution Hill, and John Bon. You could have had that conversation a week before all those races.
You're just a year behind. You need to adjust your watch. Interestingly, Gaelic Warrior's favourite for the King George. Double figure price for the King George, which for the Gold Cup, but 4-1 favourite for the King George, which I suppose proves your point, doesn't it? That the market is factoring in that flat track, sharpish, quick 3 miles rather than.
Yeah, I think way too much is made of that. I mean, if you go over the years, loads of horses have won the King George and gone on to win the Gold Cup.
Yeah, but also you get those horses who just never quite stay. Beeful Salmon as well, they just never quite stay the Gold Cup trip,
Florida
even though they're
Pearl,
very good. Florida Pearl.
And, there are others. But I mean, this is what makes these champion races.
Loads of horses have won the King George in the Gold Cup. Could you just list those loads?
I tell you what.
Well, you see, I'm a little older than you now, and
if you win the King George, though, then you have to think about.
Kicking King. I'll give you that one.
Kicking King.
But loads of horses.
Desert Orchid.
So we've got 2.
The Great Arkle.
Corto Star, I'll give you that. 3.
Cato Star. Arkle.
So you've gone back to the 70s.
Yeah, well, 60s.
To get 4. 60s.
I know.
They only run each race once a year,
Wayward
though,
Lad.
to be fair.
Would have, only for the Brilliant
Hold
Dawn
on.
run.
Now you're having to put out horses who didn't win the Gold Cup.
Yeah, no.
Wayward Lad is exactly the example that you didn't want to bring up.
No.
A horse who doesn't stay.
He might have stayed if Brad had to stay behind for another half a furlong. Thanks be to God he didn't, and Dawn Run got up.
Okay, so we've proved that's nonsense.
So we're not riding off Gaelic Warrior. We'll see what he does at Kempton. And it's a jump season preview. It's not just a Cheltenham preview.
Yeah.
So
Got to back them up. with
Gaelic
facts.
Warrior.
I am backing them up. You see that.
If you win the King George, then they'll look at Cheltenham. They've got to look at Cheltenham, haven't they?
And they will.
With Gaelic Warrior. Absolutely, absolutely.
That's just part of the main plan.
We have to go a long way
Sorry,
down.
just I've got to interrupt there. Why wouldn't they look at the Ryanair more than the Gold Cup?
If
you won the King George.
Because it's not the Gold Cup.
What would you rather win?
Because you just want to keep going back to the King George is a flat sprint. I mean, I don't know where people came up with this. The King George is a 3-mile chase, and by God, you want a good stayer to win it.
Yeah. When we were looking at the season, I was looking at Ben Pauling's team for a few
Jukebox
up-and-coming.
Man.
Jukebox Man, I think, is a King George horse. And that's his target. As I understand it, King George for him. But we're talking about staying chases. Yeah, Jukebox Man will be back. What price is he for the 25 for the Gold Cup? We'll get a price.
Harry was at
King
Fontwell
George. He's
the
short
other
of the
day,
King
and
George.
I think he might have been thinking like something like the Charlie Hall.
That's right, but he did say King George as well, didn't he? Like
Oh,
King
yeah,
George
yeah.
would be- So that would be his own. The other Pauling horse, who will be aimed more towards the Gold Cup and would only run in a King George if it was soft, would be Handstands, who ties in with the Arkle form. And some of these horses didn't perform quite to the level I hoped. Diva Luna, the mare I was a big fan of, she ran well once last year. But I feel that some of them weren't 100% at different times. Handstands, 50. These are the horses I'm looking for at this stage in the season.
Chance. Django Bay, though, isn't completely impossible. If he does come
Why
back...
has Handstands got no chance if you like Django Bay, and Handstands has beaten Django Bay?
No, Django Bay's a better horse.
Django Bay is a very reliable,
Handstands
good
needs mud as well.
staying horse, and I like Django Bay now, but he's come back from a fracture.
He fractured something in Aintree. But again, I saw him trot up the other day. That's all gone now. But he did do it. And any horse who has an injury, until you see them run, you're not absolutely
Might
sure.
he be 2.5?
Yeah, but if there's a man that
Could
can
be,
bring
yeah.
them
He's
back,
going King George, basically. He's that big
Okay,
King George.
okay.
Nicky Henderson is the man he's the comeback king.
Yeah. So Django Bay we should consider in that King George box, 20 to 1. You can have our sponsors for that. Jukebox Man 14 for the King George. I wouldn't rule these horses out. And Handstands, I take these 50 to 1 Handstands. We mentioned Kicking King and War of Attrition. At this stage in those seasons, I remember because they were in my ante-post columns for the old At the Races, those years, having done what they did as novices, they were 25, 33 to 1, 40 to 1 to go and win a Gold Cup the next season. And they did. Yep. It can be done. Horses can step up from their novice season and go and win Gold Cups next season. I like those horses. I'll take Handstands at 50 to 1.
Yeah.
They can, but it just depends whether you think Galopin Des Champs is a special horse, and I think
he's a phenomenon, isn't he? He's a phenomenon.
And he's only 9 going on 10.
Yeah.
Feels like he should be 20 going on 21.
Yeah.
But he's 9 going on 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
but
he was
one
so
day
dynamic as a novice. We know him for a long time,
Yeah.
and that's what makes racing great. But everything has to come up to Galopin Des Champs' level,
Exactly.
including the horse that beat him last year, in my
But
opinion.
Galopin Des Champs is 6 to 1.
Yes, I take your point. Again,
he's a
it's the
fantastic
maths
price.
point, isn't it? That you'll be sitting in a good position come the day, potentially. But he won't stay at that level forever. And one day something will go past him.
Yeah, but Boyce, you're still right up there, aren't you?
Yeah, look how long you're around,
look
and
how
you're still
long.
right up
Don't
there.
draw attention to that.
Got his Zimmer frame in
It's
the
a
corner.
long, it's a
over
long
there.
old running, isn't it? Long old uphill running for us. So we've touched on the Gold Cup there and the King George. We haven't mentioned Nick Rocket. He got a mention from Willie the other day saying, I think he said he will get a Gold Cup entry this year. You know,
Yeah, I wasn't actually talking to Willie himself about it, but a few lads in the yard, and they think he's a better horse now than he was last season. So that puts him in the picture.
yeah.
Came through the whole point to point. See, he came the traditional way, not like Willie's usual French imports. This horse was reared in Waterford, came through his point to point, went on, and they tell me he's improving. You see, he was quite a sick horse 2 seasons ago, so which would be then last season. Because he was under the weather the previous season, he got a good handicap mark, so he utilised that and ended up winning the international. And that possibly could categorise him as an old stayer, and he's not. He's a very classy horse by walking.
He went that route because they knew where they were with his.
They knew because
handicap,
they had a handicap edge.
Yeah.
He won the Thyestes.
Which you need in that race now. Anyway, it's a different race, isn't it? You need.
Yeah. So Nick Rocket could come right into it, as could 15 of Willie's other horses.
I mean, everyone did say that after Iron Maximus, he won the Grand National.
Yes,
so he'll be a Gold Cup horses. Yeah. I think it is so different now. I couldn't have Nick Rocket on my mind for a Gold Cup.
Okay. We need to move on because I want to touch on a few other topics just before we wrap up. Don't forget, by the way, if you're watching this and you're thinking, where can I do all my study? The At the Races website, of course, but also on the app, which is free to download. The At the Races app is well worth checking out. The Jump Season Preview is brought to you in association with that At the Races app, and if you haven't got it, do check it out and download it. It's free. Keep you up to date with everything that you need to know. You have it all at your fingertips. Right, novice chasers. So last year's herders who are now going novice chasing.
I think we're going to agree.
I don't think we are.
No, well,
Is yours Irish or English?
English.
Ooh.
Is it trained by a former champion jockey?
No.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
he's trained by
you go
former champion trainer.
you go
Lumba,
first.
to me, is the most exciting.
Okay.
Lalumba going chasing,
Yeah. I mean, trained by the man that is brilliant at training these 2 mile chasers.
Yes, and also very keen to get on with it with him,
Yeah.
by the sound of it, you know?
I would say he's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Kopek de Board is obviously going to be the pretender, well, at the moment, be the pretender from Ireland, but I'll stick with Lalumba.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I mentioned earlier I was looking at the Anglo-Irish classification. I assumed Kopek de Board would be quite a long way clear. He isn't actually. He's right up there, obviously, joint top rate. I think with Final Demand is right there, and Lulamba's a couple of pounds behind. There's a whole host of them going chasing, these very smart novices. It's exciting. What's getting you jiggy, Matt?
I've got 3 novice chasers that I think I cannot wait to see. Lulamba's one. I don't need to say any more. It's obvious he's already schooled. He's apparently jumps really well. Just looks like he'll be a natural, and he's a young horse. He could be anything. We all know that. The second one was Romeo Coolio, who was being put up for the Supreme by a lot of people this time last year. Ran perfectly okay behind.
He'd be a price for the Arkle if he wanted something at a big price.
Yeah, he'd be 20-ish to 1, I should think. He was third behind Kopek de Board. But you have to remember, Kopek de Board ran an absolute shocker when we last saw him, whereas Romeo Coolio was just always consistent. But the key with him is, unlike Kopek de Board, Romeo Coolio ran in a point-to-point. Kopek de Board didn't. He was a bumper horse and then he went hurdling. Romeo Coolio ran in a point-to-point. He's a big brute of the thing who really, pardon me, with the benefit of hindsight, was never going to be probably a hurdler, although he was a very, very good hurdler. I just think he's massive in the Arkle. I can't see him out of the frame in the Arkle. Everything suggests he'll do well. And finally, a horse that I think once I say his name, everyone will just go, who's forgotten him? Oh yeah, him. Derry Hassan Paddy, who is built like a brick house for Lucinda Russell and Peter
Key
Scoot.
horse for them, isn't he?
Yeah, he ran really well at Cheltenham as a hurdler. I mean, and Scoot did say to me one day, he took me to one side actually, because often if Scoot ever has a good one, I say, oh, it could be next Carville's Hill. And he took me to one side and he said, you know, you always say, could be the next Carville's Hill. He said, if I've ever seen a horse that could be the next Carville's Hill, it's Derry Hassan Paddy. And I was lucky enough to be, I think it was Uttoxeter, when he ran once last season, early on. And I was completely blown away. It would have been his 3rd or 4th run, I think he was at Uttoxeter. And I was blown away by him then. Everyone got blown away by him after that, I think, just because big horses don't always make chasers. Carville's Hill, in some ways, was a sign of that. But everything about this horse suggests that when he sees a fence, he's going to love it. And I think he's one of the most exciting horses out there.
That's a nice list. He was on my little list as one to look forward to. Any others for you, Tony, that you're particularly looking forward coming into this division? Salvatore Mundi's going jumping, I think.
Well, Salvatore Mundi is very... I think Lalumba is way clear in the Arkle division.
Interesting, yep.
And Willie probably has about 20 for the RSA. So,
yeah.
I mean, start naming ones now. I think it's quite dangerous. I haven't heard of anything that's exceptional yet there. So,
okay.
I'd be only shooting in the dark.
Okay. I'm going to wrap up with a few questions for you.
Well,
Go on.
We didn't touch on, I know, and it's a dangerous race and I hate it, is the Triumph.
Yes.
And the novice hurdles.
I haven't touched on the novice hurdles at all, really, but give us...
I'd like to mention two of David Pipe's, would you believe? David Pipe bought a beautiful 3-year-old hurdler there called Parchmount that won in, I'd say Clairefontaine there or Fontainebleau, I'm not sure which, there in June. And the interesting thing, you're going to get a line on this now because Paul Nicholls bought the second horse, and I read somewhere the other day that he's going to run quite soon, the Pourquoi de Papa or something is his name. And, so you're going to get a line, but I'm told this Parchment is fantastic, training well, absolutely fine. So keep an eye for him in the 3-year-old hurdles. And a horse that, another one of David Pipe's, he hasn't had a real good horse for a long time, and I think he just might have two this year. I was absolutely blown away with Wind Beneath My Wings in that Ascot bumper last year. Unfortunately, he met with a little accident coming into Cheltenham. So there are two horses that I would give a big shout out to Parchment.
The horse that Wind Beneath My Wings beat, which was I think called Money Garrow or Money Harrow or something like that. Anyway, runs at Chepstow on Friday. This will obviously,
goes in the
but
Persian
it's
War.
worth just checking out Money Garrow or something it's called.
I think it's Money Garrow, in the Persian War.
Yeah,
on our channel.
Oh yeah. So I'm not sure when this is going out, but check out how that horse got on. Not that actually it's a massive key because Wing Beneath My Wings was about 6 miles in front.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Wind Beneath My Wings getting beaten in Ballinrobe, and I said to myself, how could this, But then I saw him in Listowel. He was brilliant, and he came over then what he done in Ascot. I mean, this is a very serious horse, this Wind Beneath My Wings, and
25s for the Supreme.
And that's a stable you'd love to be, because you need competition.
100%,
and Pipe against Henderson or Pipe against Nicholls is something of history in this game, and it would be nice for David to be right up there doing that.
Yeah, well, you see, you can't really blame the last couple of years. He's had nothing. I mean, coming into the season, he didn't have the ones. I'm nominating these two as two serious horses to put David Pipe back into the big time.
I like it. So the Brits have put up a couple of Irish horses. Well, I'm actually, no, you put up the skew horse as well, didn't you? So we've got a few there. We've got a few, which is good.
I think that Willie is going to try and bombard the whole season now, both in Ireland and England. But I've mentioned a couple of horses there that I believe are going to keep him up to his job.
Good stuff. What I want from all of us is our best sort of long-range fancy. We've talked about some ante-post prices. Have a think about that. We'll get one of those. And also I want top trainer, top jockey, but maybe more who's going to have a very good season, maybe somebody beyond the obvious. Let's start with a top long-range bet. You've had a few thoughts on
I'd go Romeo Coolio in the Arkle, 20 to 1.
It's a nice price.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone Galopin Des Champs, I could have gone Tiapu, because I think those are nice prices as well. But
our friends are boosting that.
Yeah.
TalkSport.
Are they? What?
Yeah, 22.
Well, better than nothing. We did Django Bay this day last year, and we'll do Romeo Coolio this year.
You did like that, to be fair.
Tottenham owners as well, so that helps.
Okay, can't have everything.
I don't have 100 to 1 one. I like Cowabunga last year, but which didn't even run actually. But my horse is Wind Beneath My Wings. I'm just wondering there, are we getting any boost on him?
We'll see what we can do on that. Might scroll across the screen any minute.
I think he's a class horse.
And it's forgotten about because he didn't turn up in the Champion Bumper. We've all forgotten about him, but there was a great buzz around him before that. Yeah,
he's a very good horse. So he would be my value bet.
I like it.
And him and the Yellow Clay.
Yellow Clay was going to be one of mine. I think at the prices, I really like him because you know where he's going. He's with the right team. Yellow Clay 14-1, I think, for the Stayers Hurdle. So we'll have to throw in something else. I'll throw in handstands at 50s for the Gold Cup. I'll take a little bit of that. I quite like that. And if anything else springs to mind before the end, I'll throw that in as well. But I agree with you about Yellow Clay. I think it's a very nice price currently.
Trainers?
A trainer to have a great season, because we can mention championship. Will Willie Mullins be champion trainer over here again?
We've said that at the top. If Willie Mullins wants to be, and Tony says he does, then he will be. I just think he's got too much ammunition. For all that Dan Skelton will try and build up a lead.
Well, he did need to win a national to get past Dan Skelton last year.
Yeah, but if he has 10 in the national, we had this conversation earlier. While it's the race that you could obviously lose, there's still every chance that Willie will win it. Yeah. If he has a quarter of the field.
He's got
a 1 in 4 chance.
Something I do not agree with. This bombarding it by major trainers. I just don't agree with it. But anyway, getting away from that again.
Brotherly hate.
You know, this ludicrous thing is, if Willie, does he want to win the English Championship? Of course he does. He's probably starting to plan out the French Championship at the moment, so he is. I mean, and in my opinion,
Championship.
Yeah, the Egyptian one as well. So
who gets to the pyramid first?
Willie is going to take all before him. So and there's no question on that. If anyone can get a price on that, he's just going to take all before him. Ireland and England.
I mean, the two. If we're looking for bubbling trade, they're not going to be champion traders this season.
No, but someone to follow through the season.
Ollie Murphy has the numbers. He's looking for the class now, and by all accounts, he. Funny enough, that day Derry Hassan Paddy won at Uttoxeter. I'm pretty sure Kingston Pride won for Hendo, and of course he's a horse who's now with Ollie Murphy for biggish money. But Ollie Murphy is on the upward curve. Whether he has ever enough money to, I mean, he's got quite a few rich owners, and the Murphy team is quite rich, so to speak. They can splash the cash, but whether he has enough to compete with Skelton's and Mullins money-wise will always be open to question. But he's clearly upwardly mobile, and with Sean Bowen on top, and Sean is just absolutely mint. It's got a big help, and I'm bubbling under the surface quite a way down, but obviously a force now is James Owen, who, you know, we didn't even mention East India Dock in the Stayers Hurdle, but he wouldn't be the most surprising winner of the Stayers Hurdle of all time. He won the Chester Cup. If he can do that on the flat, he should be able to mix it somewhere in the Stayers.
There'll be more of those horses coming as well.
Well, he's got Ambiente Friendly, the Derby. I mean, you wouldn't know whether that was...
He's only 5 this year, is he?
James Owen, no, he's a bit older than that.
East India Dock.
But he's only a young horse. Yeah. But he's a trainer that you look at, isn't he? You think, oh, that's an Owen horse, and he's going to get numbers.
Oh yeah, and he peppered the target with very little ammunition last year, didn't he?
There's a bit of Martin Pipe about James Owen, I think, a little bit.
He's a machine. He's a machine.
Again, you see, don't get mixed up with, and I think we touched on this earlier, with a trainer that can train a lot of well-handicapped horses to win races, with a trainer who he is still to prove that he can bring horses to the Boyle and collect. That's a very hard thing to do.
He's got very close to it, and he's only been around for a
long time. He's very close to it, and
he's training Arabian horses about 3 years ago. Now
yes, I know he's very good, and he's exciting, but he hasn't proved it yet.
Could he get Pedro Bob to be ready for that county?
No.
No. Only one man for that job. I'll throw in a couple. I was big on Ben Pauling last year. I think he's got some very, very big horses this year who all need to sort of click at the right time. If they do, they could have a very big season. Watch out for Diva Luna. I flagged her up last year. We haven't seen what she can do. I'm convinced of that. She's very, very smart. I like handstands. Quite like the jukebox man as well. But the other trainer who we must mention in this breath of people who are starting to Harry Derham. Whose strike rate is terrific, spent quite a lot of money last year, but converted that into lots of successes, lots of wins, very high strike rate, seems to have spent similarly again this year and has started very well. So I throw him into the mix as well. Who's going to have, we've got a blowout, a horse that we're against for the season ahead? Constitution Hill.
Oh, Constitution Hill, yeah, he's as blind as a bat. And unfortunately, look, and I freely say these things because I'm a huge fan of the horse. He was one of the most exciting I've ever seen.
Well, you mentioned him earlier in the same breath.
I'd hate to hear you when you're against a horse.
No, but I mean, no. What I'm
You're a
saying,
real fan of Constitution Hill. Crikey, I wouldn't like to be.
I
your
was.
enemy.
I said he was the most exciting horse I had seen as a young horse, but unfortunately, they weren't. He didn't clip the top of a hurdle. He just went like
Landed on top of it. Yeah.
you know, straight through the middle of the
People
hurdle.
watch the beginning of this show and watch the end of this show.
They
And just
wonder-
forward round, they think we've only talked about one thing from start to finish.
What about you? Any horse that you just going to take on, come what may?
I'll
that
take on
you
Marina.
can't have.
I'll take on Marie National. I just don't think he's a natural chaser. I never have done. He was sensational as a hurdler, but I just don't trust him as a fencer. And I could be totally wrong.
Okay.
But
And you often have been. Yeah.
Has been.
to be fair, there are lots of things I'll argue with, but with that, it's hard to argue.
I'll throw in Mashborough until he proves to me that he really can jump. The jury for me is out, and I'd be happy to say he's going to be really skinny prices in the first couple of times over fences. We'll take him on. It's been great fun, lads. I've enjoyed that, which, as I always say, is the main thing. Tony, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chapman,
Boyce,
thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
You have led
Been a
it
pleasure.
supremely well, I think. Professional, wouldn't you say? Professional.
Jumped out, made the running, never faltered.
Yeah, that Mashborough at the last.
Exactly.
flat on his face in the last. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you found some nuggets of value and entertainment along the way, and have a very, very enjoyable National Hunt season. Now, thanks to our friends at TalkSport Bet. We'll see you soon.